The door gets kicked in and slams a hole through the wall, and her dad is standing right in front of me with my out. And so then he walks up to me while I'm still sitting on the toilet with my out, and he sets the Glock on the countertop facing towards me. He leans up against the doorway and goes, "So what you doing today with my daughter?"
So your ass is
I'm taking a shit.
Your ass is fully out, and there's a Glock pointed at you.
Yeah, I mean, like, I got my tucked. I'm like this.
Okay, I'm ready.
Can I turn down hers a little bit?
Oh, we gooey, rich, and chewy. All right, we're live. We're live. Welcome back to your friend's podcast. I'm your host, Megan Page, and this is my great friend, Jordan.
Thanks for having me.
Welcome.
Thanks for having me. I've been looking forward to this. We planned this a while ago, so thank you for having me. I'm glad that we had the time to do this.
You're so welcome. Thank you for giving me your time. Means a lot.
That's easy.
Yeah. Okay, so let me just rip off the Band-Aid. You got sued by your ex-girlfriend for $25,000. Is that correct?
Yep, that amount exactly. And I'll tell you more about why that amount exactly. That wasn't like a made-up number. They pretty much, yeah. Anyway, so yeah, to get into it, this had to have been early December of 2019. I used to drive, for those of you who know cars or are familiar with BMWs, I used to drive a 2010 BMW E60 535i. It was an amazing car. And that is the car that she came over. She hopped inside the car. I was going to pick up my sister from dance practice or something like that. And along the way, we were on a crazy curvy road that I knew really well, but essentially missed a turn, was going uphill in the rain, in the dark, totally like just caught some gravel off the side of the road. And then at that speed, it just took the rest of my car off the road. So we didn't tumble. The car was fine. I had it fixed within 30 days, just all cosmetic stuff. But her window got shattered right as soon as like the crash settled. Like I tried to control it. We didn't hit any trees. We just kind of like lumped the car over we went through a fence and then like hit a field. I did a big U and then went back, kind of parked after the crash right onto the road again.
Okay. And how long were you guys dating when this crash happened?
To be all the way truthful, we dated when we were sophomores, but then we got back together as seniors. So we had known each other for like 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. But it didn't get serious until senior year.
Okay. So were you guys together like for a couple of months officially when the crash happened, or? Yeah,
we'd been less than 6 months, but like more than 3. But essentially the crash happens, and I'm like, "Are you okay?" And like she's like, "I'm good." Like, "Are you okay?" And she was really startled, and like I totally understand all of that. Like I understand like being like startled, like having a ton of anxiety or being stressed out. Like I understand that being traumatic, like getting into a car accident. It was my first car accident too. And it was my fault. Like I'm not, like in no way, shape, or form am I getting around that. Like I caused the car accident. No one else was driving that car that night. But essentially, we were both like, we're good. Like you feel good, like no bruises, like you don't have like a broken arm and you're not realizing it yet. We're like, okay, we're both good, cool. Like, and then, so 5 minutes goes on, 10 minutes goes on. I call the police, let my parents know, eventually the police come, they analyze the crash. In the meantime, there's hella pedestrians that stopped. Some people helped us out. One guy, because we're not in my car anymore, obviously, it's like shattered and everything, and it's also a cold, rainy December night. So this one guy had like a nice big truck, and he let us sit in his truck with the heater on until the whole situation was resolved. And basically they were directing traffic for us because we were young, and like they're basically, the adults came to the rescue. They're all the ones who like saw the crash. Essentially she was doing good, but she was starting to feel kind of dizzy, kind of like lightheaded. And we were like, yeah, it's probably good for you to get checked out, like to see what's up, right? So she took the ambulance ride to the hospital. They found that she had and I quote, mild concussion. Okay. Which I fully admit and I apologize to. I caused her to have a mild concussion.
I mean,
So, but she was my girlfriend. I was devastated. I was devastated. I sent flowers to her door. Her parents wouldn't let me see her, so that's the best I could do. I was texting her, trying to FaceTime her, but her parents like wouldn't, like if they caught her on the phone with me, they were like, "Ugh."
But just because you crashed the car?
Yeah, they were like,
That's
they were completely like against me.
That seems very unfair.
And well, I have an even crazier story I could also tell you that you may or may not have heard before. That has to do with this same girlfriend and the same family. So maybe we can loop back around to that. But they already didn't like me for a story I may tell. So her parents were like, I was on do not contact. But I did my best. I tried to set up a visit to see her like at their house and apologize to her whole family. Like I felt so bad, right? But essentially like she was talking to me. She was like, it's okay. Like, I love you. Like, I'm so happy you're like still here for me. And it was like all good. And then I basically got silence. Like I never heard from her. And then we got served papers. So they had basically, the way that it had worked is that we got contacted by an attorney who his question to us was, what is our insurance policy payout for like personal injury liability on the passenger or whatever. So my insurance at the time was the cap, the max for my insurance was $25,000. That's how much my insurance would cover in expenses, right? With like a whatever deductible. So they hired a lawyer, and the lawyer basically said, we're going to take this concussion that the doctors and nurses said should take you 1 week to recover from, and you'll miss school for a week, but after that you'll be fine. We're going to take this concussion, and we're going to get every single possible MRI scan, like doctor visit. We're going to like rack up the bills because you can sue someone for 3 times whatever your expenses are.
No
So
way.
that's what they did. So they racked up the thousands of dollars in medical bills, and then they sued us for 3 times as much, which ended up being exactly $25,000. Exactly what the insurance, what we told them, because that's what you do. You have to disclose your insurance information. So they're like, layup. Like, we're not going to, they didn't want to try to fight us for our money because they know that we're going to hire lawyers and beat their ass. You know, they're just like, what's the most we can get away with and just like easy. So that's what they did. So she was like, she totally switched on me. And then like also, by the way, like months after this, like posted horrible things about me on her like main Instagram.
So we don't feel bad about this.
No, she has hated my guts ever since then. Because her parent, I believe that her parents brainwashed her into basically, hating me because it was an accident. Like the accident happened. It's my fault, but I don't believe that I did anything more to her. I caused her any more harm than the mild concussion that should have lasted her one. By the way, she never returned to school. Just so you know, in order to like prove the case as well, she never returned to school from December. That was December 2019, right? And then March 2020 is when COVID happened. So she from December, she was supposed to be back mid-December after the crash, like right during finals. And that was the bad thing. It was like, oh, I'm gonna make her miss school during finals week. I feel like a total dick, right? But she never even returned to school from January to March, and then COVID, right? But she never would have returned. She had no plans of returning to school because that was part of her case, is that she has like
brain damage.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So she fully doesn't have brain damage, like, right?
No, I mean she
that's crazy.
She actually ended up going to college where I moved after high school. Also, I moved to Southern California. She moved down to the same city as me. I think at first she might have been taking online school, but she eventually moved to that city. And the only reason why she had an idea to go to that college is because I was like, I think I'm going to go to the community college like nearby this area. And she like, when we were still together, I was telling her my plans, and then she just decides that that's the best school for her to go to. I was like, okay.
That's kind of. Is that not really weird? Did you
weird.
Did you ever see her on campus?
So I never saw her. I never saw her, but you know my good friend. I'm not gonna name drop him, but
I think I know.
First initial starts with a D.
Yeah, I know. You're talking about.
He used to work at a fast food restaurant right down the street from where I left. I'm like trying not to like name everything, but he worked at a fast food restaurant for a little while. down the street from where I lived, and he saw her in the drive-thru one time, and he served her food.
Oh, I would have spit in it.
And he was like, "Dude, I just served your crazy ex."
I would have spit in it.
No.
I would have sneezed at least.
Yeah. Well, that's.
Did you feel like betrayed? Like what? How did you feel after that? You're like,
I didn't trust women. I'll tell you that.
Well, like, cause I mean, I completely understand that. I mean, someone like you obviously had love for this person. You had trust in this person. You were in a relationship with this person, and then for them to just like.
The money was worth way more than any of that.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy to me.
But at the same time, like looking at it like from like a serious like perspective.
Her college is fully paid because of you, right?
Oh yeah.
That's crazy.
And I will say like nothing against something against her parents. Like her parents, I'm gonna have to tell you that story that I keep dodging about her. The one that happened before the crash. But her parents are like they do good. They bought a house in like 2003. Like that. I'm a real estate agent, so I can look at anyone's tax information and like to see like that. According to everything on paper, like they're doing good. Like they probably could have afforded to pay it for college. That's all I'm saying. Like completely keeping them completely anonymous. Like they probably could have paid for her college. Like I know what they do for a living, both her mom and her dad. But hey, who knows? Depends on if you're financially literate. Here's what I was so maybe we should stay on this topic. Maybe we shouldn't.
Yeah, sure.
But so I ought to tell you. Well, let's just go for it. Okay. So
Let's hear it.
I think the reason you'll understand the reason why I haven't told you this story yet. And maybe it's good I haven't. Maybe it's good I've saved it for the podcast.
Okay.
But take it as best you can.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
Okay. So basically, I'm dating. This is the same girl, crazy girl, right?
Crazy girl. Yep.
This is when we were still good. This is our senior year. During the summer, we're down the street at Dutch Bros. Her parents are both. Her mom's gonna be out of town. Her dad's gonna be working his late shift job until like 1 a.m. Right? So she gets the idea. Let's go back to her house. Let's go up to her room, and and I was like, I had only ever had sex in a car before. I was like, dude, sex in a bed sounds awesome. Like let's try that out right. So I showed her house for whatever fucking reason. Her best friend drove her to her house, and she left her car where we were hanging out at a coffee shop. She left her car at a coffee shop, and two other friends that she drove to the coffee shop there. She left them there. Like, I'm pretty sure she left her keys too. So she left her keys, car, two friends, and so basically was like, figure it out. And so she went with someone else back to her house. That part never made sense to me. So she leaves, and she's like, hey, come to my house. I'm like, okay. Go to her house. Her friend is downstairs for some. This is all really weird. By the way, I think it's because she was sketched out from the beginning. But her friend was downstairs. I'm like, where's blank? She's upstairs. Okay, I go upstairs. We start kind of fooling around. But then she's like, this doesn't feel right. I'm like, okay, like what's wrong? And so she keeps checking her phone because she has her parents' location. She's like, I don't know, like it's just not like it's not loading or something. It's some bullshit. Like, I think it was fine at first, but eventually she like gets nervous and she checks her parents' location, and she's like, I'm like, what? And she's like, my dad's in the garage. And I was like, what? And like keep in mind, like, so what, like, where are you? Like, he doesn't know I'm over. I've never met him. Like, I'm in his house.
Oh.
Like, and I'm white and they're not white. It just doesn't look good.
It doesn't, yeah.
Looks really bad.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh shit. I think I was actually wearing these same shoes. Because
they're Yeezys, by the way, if anyone wants to know.
Well, the reason why is because I was like, oh shit. I was like, oh fuck. Like, what the fuck am I? So like, I had a bag full of condoms from Planned Parenthood, like 50 condoms, and I stuffed them in between like the mattress and the wall because I did not want him to find 50 condoms on me.
Oh.
And then I grabbed my shoes. I was like, I'm gonna use the restroom. So I walk out her door, and I hear him downstairs as I'm walking out of her bedroom door. I hear him downstairs talking to their friend. I'm like, and like she's stalling. I go into the bathroom. And I put my shoes outside of the door, like my Yeezys, knock them outside the door, close the door, lock the door, go, and now I'm gonna take a shit, right? I'm just gonna take a shit. Okay.
That's just a great way to divert.
Yeah, well, about 15, 20 seconds later, the door gets fucking kicked in and slams a hole through the wall, and her dad is standing right in front of me with my ass out. And he says, don't fucking move. He walks down the hallway, another 10, 15 seconds passes, and then he walks back through the hallway where I can see him, and he racks his Glock. And he's, like, looking around the house. And so then he walks up to me while I'm still sitting on the toilet with my ass out. And he sets the Glock on the countertop facing towards me. And he leans up against the doorway and goes, so what you doing today with my daughter?
So your ass is
I'm taking a shit.
Out. Your ass is fully out and there's a Glock pointed at you.
Yeah, I mean, like, I got my tucked, but, like, what? I hadn't taken a shit yet, but I was about to. But he's like, so what are you doing about it? I was like, I don't even remember what I said. I actually might not have responded.
Oh my God.
I might not have responded to that first question because there was no right answer.
Right.
I think that he said, he followed up that question with, are you having sex with my daughter? And then there's no way I'm going to lie.
Like, no, not yet. We were about to.
Well, there's no way I was going to lie to him. Well, I had. We've been dating for a little while.
Right.
So I wasn't going to lie to him. Like, I'm like, that's not the time to lie to someone when you're at gunpoint. So I'm like, yeah. And he was like, have you been using protection? And I'm like, yes. And I was like, you can go find the condoms, bro. I've been using protection. Like,
you can go find the 50 condoms.
I got a 50 pack on me, bro. I should have said that. So I'm like, yes. And he was like, do you understand? He said some. You understand that you're never allowed back in my house unless you hear my verbal consent or like, and he was like, just preached to me for a little bit, right? Mm-hmm. And then he grabs eventually. I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry. Like, I'm never gonna be back here. Like, fuck, I don't care if you say I can come back. I'm not coming back here. What the fuck? Actually, I did end up coming back there.
That's crazy.
I know, I'm crazy. And
you were whipped.
I wasn't whipped.
Then why'd you go back there? After a gun was pointed at you? That's
crazy.
Crazy.
A Thanksgiving party like 3 months later, and all my friends were there with me. So I'm like, there's no way.
You're like, he won't.
He doesn't shoot me.
He won't pull a gun at me this time.
Yeah.
It's Thanksgiving.
No. So I basically, but before he let me go, right? So by the way, keep in mind, this whole conversation, my pants are down.
They're still down this whole time?
I'm like this. He's in the doorway, and I'm like this. And I have my pants at my ankles. And
were you like too frozen to pull them up, or you just like?
No, he said stay right there, and he's got a gun. So I was
okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, I actually thought he was gonna shoot me at first.
Did you have any reaction to that? Like, and so like, were you scared? Like, were you scared?
I was seriously considering the window was too small, but I was on the second story of the house, so like there's no getting out of the situation. Honestly, but
that's really scary.
Honestly, yeah. When he said don't fucking move and he walked away, and then so what happened? There was a space between he racked the Glock, and he did it on purpose. He racked the Glock, and then he like walked away again. So then I had a second to be like, oh shit, and then he came back. But essentially, what I was gonna say was before he just he said his shit. He established some ground rules, which look, I understand. I understand everything except for pulling a gun on me.
Yeah, that's insane.
And I mean
that's
that
insane.
Like everything that I was in your house, like that is your daughter. Like you had every right to bust down your door and tell me what's up.
Yeah.
But the fact that you racked a Glock and made me think that I was going to lose my life is not cool.
Yeah.
I don't think that that's cool. And I've told a couple of friends this, and they're like, "Oh my God!" But it's what I was gonna say was before he left, right? So the Glock is sitting on the counter, and I know it was a Glock because I know guns. It was sitting right there, and he's like, basically, he's like, "All right, like we're good now." And he picks up the gun and he shakes it at me. He goes, "Clean your shit up, blood." Verbatim. That's what he said to me, and then he didn't even shut the door. I had to So I basically, that was basically it.
Well,
I pulled my shit and I waited in line to leave the house because the best friend was getting an earful of discipline, and then she was allowed to leave, and then I walked down and he said, "All right, say goodnight to blank. And because my ex-girlfriend at the time, she was sitting on the stairs crying. So I was like, good night. And I'm never coming back here. And I walked out. He had the door already propped up, and he was like, all right, you take care of yourself. I was like,
Sounds like
okay.
Sounds like the apple doesn't
Psycho.
fall far from the tree and crazy.
Yeah, it's psycho.
To be honest, that's insane.
Yeah.
Insane. That's like a Humble-esque type story right there. Like,
so I don't think I've told you that.
You actually did.
I did tell you that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like when we were first, when we first started.
What?
Dating.
Oh.
We tricked you, everyone. This is my boyfriend. And we waited till the middle of the episode. Because
we're probably not quite in the middle, but
can we tell our first date story?
Yeah. Yeah,
okay.
You go.
Okay, but then you'll probably have to jump in because I was kind of out of it for the end of the night.
Okay.
Okay, so our first date. So I Snapchatted you, and I was like, "Happy birthday, Jordan," because I had known you.
This is how we met. That's not our first date.
Well, yeah. I just wanted to preface a little bit.
Yeah, how the hell all happened.
Yeah. So I Snapchatted you. I was like, "Happy birthday, Jordan." Slide in with the happy birthday.
Totally.
Classic move, by the way. And I was like, we should go get drinks sometime. And I think that weekend or the week after that, I remember I drove to your house, and the first thing I noticed is that you opened the door for me. You opened the car door for me, and I was like, oh shit, like this is nice. And I was like, that's super sweet. And then we went to this really cute bar in Sacramento, like the cutest bar. It's like cabin themed. Like you walk in and it literally looks like a cabin. I think we both got the s'mores drinker. I got the s'mores and you got
Moscow.
Yeah, you got a Moscow.
Yeah.
And we drank our drinks, and then I was like, do you want a tequila shot? And you were like, yeah, let's have a tequila shot. And I remember you were like, what's one of the most expensive ones? Was it not 1942?
I was like, what do they have? Yeah, so they did not have the traditional Don Julio 1942.
Right.
They had the Rosado, which is it has almost rounded edges on the bottle.
Yeah.
Not sure what the difference really was. Maybe it's supposed to, yeah. But that's the one I think we ended up going for. It was $20 a shot.
Yeah, $20 a shot. And I was like, oh, damn, this is a bougie day.
I knew I liked you already.
I was like, oh, shit.
But little did I know that was the worst decision ever for myself.
Yes. So we both take this shot, and I'm sitting on the right of Jordan. We both take this shot. I look over at him, and his face is pale. Like you look like you're rebooting. The program in your head is rebooting. You're just frozen. And I'm just I remember being like, are you okay? And you're kind of silent for a little bit. And I was like, oh, the tequila's was too much. How are you feeling in that moment?
Oh, I was just so focused on controlling I was just trying not to do this or I just wanted to maintain even though I look like a fucking mannequin, I was just just and not saying shit. I was just staring directly ahead at the bottles. I was like, maybe she won't notice if I just pretend I'm just chilling out. And I was like, and even if she does notice, maybe she's drunk and it won't notice. But you totally did.
I did.
And I didn't mask anything.
I remember though, a special moment happened. I grabbed your hand, and I was kind of just
that was really sweet.
Kind of just letting you know it's okay. Totally I've been there. I've been there a lot. So I was I totally get it. And I grabbed your hand. And I was like, and then I could tell you appreciated that.
Honestly, that reminds me because in the moment I get this thing where I know I'm gonna throw up if the inside of my gums kind of does this thing underneath my tongue. It'll almost push itself up, and I know that's a signal I'm gonna throw up soon.
Right.
So I started getting that, and so I was tripping in my head. I was like, bro, if I'm either gonna have to step aside and she's gonna know that I'm too faded and I went to throw up, or I'm gonna throw up all over this bar.
Right.
It's this sucks. But then it, like, I swear, like, you grabbed my hand and kind of, like, were like, oh, it's okay. And, like, that all started to kind of, like, turn back down. And I was like, oh, that's nice. Because I think, like, I wasn't so stressed about, like, the stress of you, like, does she like me or not? It went away as soon as you grabbed my hand. I was like, oh, oh, okay. And then actually, after that point, the tequila started becoming more enjoyable. I still had to keep it cool. Like, I couldn't, like, move my head too far or, like, or else I was going to be out. But that you grabbing my hand made a difference. That was really cute.
Yeah, that was a cute moment. But it's funny because you were worried about throwing up, and one of us did throw up that night, but it wasn't Jordan.
Yeah.
It wasn't Jordan. It was me.
Turntables.
Oh, how the tables turn. So, we continue to have a lovely date. I remember
We waited. First of all, we waited for a good while. We walked around.
Oh yeah,
Midtown.
we waited like a long time.
Yeah,
and we
So,
sat in
like,
the car for a
yeah.
while.
So we pounded shots. We were going to throw up from drinking, and then
and
we
then
went home.
we drunk drove. No, we did not drunk drive. Then we made out in the street. No, okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but then we went home. Went back to your place, and yeah. So then we got back to Jordan's like pretty late, and I was really excited to smoke with you.
Yeah, because we both knew that each other smoked.
Yeah.
And I think I was even joking with you, like, I could outsmoke you. Like, and you're like, no.
Yeah, I was like, no.
And like, I love that response because I'm like, okay, I'll show you.
No, I'll show you. I'm from Hubble.
Well,
I get like that, though. Like, especially if I'm drunk and we're like, oh, like, let's smoke. And I'm like, fine, let's take 5 bong rips then. Like, I really don't need to be doing all that. Especially, like, sometimes when I'm drunk and I take a bong rip, oh, I go into purgatory. I start spinning. It's over for me, you know? And that only happens sometimes because I smoke all the time. Sometimes, like, me getting crossed is the worst decision ever. And that was this night. So we get back, we're smoking, and I take that bong rip, and I'm like, oh, no. That bong rip got me. Like, that wasn't good. Because I remember I wasn't that drunk. I was fine. I was ready to, like, you know, just have a good time. And then we went to your room, and I start getting so dizzy. And I was like, oh, no, this sucks. Like, I'm about to be very, very embarrassed if I throw up. And I knew it was coming. And honestly, I think you're going to pick it up from here because I don't remember. I don't remember the rest very well.
no, basically, we were there, and then we weren't. And then you had to throw up.
I had to throw up.
And I was
but
like,
the sweetest thing, instead of
I totally took care of you, though.
You did, and that was huge for me because I've had a lot of guys in the past, like, get so angry at me, like, if I got that way, or if, like, I was sick, or if I got food poisoning. They didn't take care of me, like they didn't care, you know.
You're like, annoying.
Which, yeah, and I remember, like, I would ask them for help, and they would just kind of, like, be very rude, and they didn't care about me the way I cared about them because maybe they weren't a good person or, you know, whatever it was. And that would stress me out more, and I'd throw up faster, which, like, is very interesting. But you held the bag for me on your bed. Like, you let me throw up on your bed, and you held the bags for me, which is really sweet. Your phone started blowing up.
Oh, I forgot. I actually forgot about that.
Your phone starts blowing the up from this random phone number. Just kept calling you over and over and over. I think my phone was blowing up too. But, like, my phone was off. Like, I wasn't on my phone because I was sick.
Okay. I answered, and it ended up being your ex-boyfriend.
Yeah.
Your, like, most recent ex-boyfriend. And this is how, like, weird this guy, like...
I almost had to get a restraining order against him.
The way that he found my phone number is because you posted a picture of your drink at the bar. You snapped a picture of it, put it on your Instagram story, and you tagged me in the corner. So he went from there, he clicked on my profile, and then he had to go to one of my posts because sometimes I'll put, as an agent, I'll put my phone number. I'll say DM me or text my phone number, you know, to see this house or whatever. So he went and found that and was like, oh, I know it's a good idea. Let's call him at 11 o'clock at night, like 20 times in a row. Yeah. And then, like, of course I fucking picked up eventually. And I was like, dude, what? And he was like, is Megan there? And I was like, dude, who are you? Like, I never answered any of his questions straight. And he just, like, total, like, he was just tripping.
And wasn't he, didn't he, like, literally say, like, is Megan there? And you were like, yeah, why? And then he was like, that's my girlfriend or something.
He did say you were his girlfriend.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
I don't know what I said, but it might have been like, not anymore. Like, I don't know what I said, but I was like, okay, that's crazy. Like,
because I was scared. I was like, he's either going to believe me that he's crazy, but you knew I had to, like, get a restraining order against him, possibly, and he was, like, showing up at my work and, like, doing all this weird stuff, and so, like, you knew that, but I was like, man, there's a chance, like, I could have this all up just from, like, me throwing up and then him doing that, like, that didn't look good on my part, and I was like, damn. But here we are.
I trusted that wasn't, like, this isn't, like, your daily life. Like,
yeah.
This isn't, like, a day in the life.
I'm in my wholesome housewife era.
You definitely are.
I definitely am.
Yeah, if anyone's ever blowing you up, though, just turn your shit off. I had to turn my, I remember I was like, mother, make me turn my watch off.
I remember that, yeah.
Like, shit keeps ringing on my watch even when I turn my phone off. I'm like, dude, don't you have a shit better? Like, go play Fortnite, bro. Like,
yeah, like he does every day.
Yeah. He probably was. He's probably like this with Fortnite and, like, dialing my phone.
For sure.
It's all right. We all got to be someone.
Yeah.
He has to be him.
Did you have any New Year's resolutions?
Mostly to chill out on the nicotine.
Oh. Mine was to stop drinking alcohol.
Yeah.
It's working out really good. I've been really good about quitting alcohol.
Oh, my God.
I've been so good I haven't had any slip-ups.
Did you even bring Jordan one?
Yeah, that's not fair. Are you kidding? Oh, I thought you were going to bring me nicotine.
That would have been funny. I should have.
I drove here.
I didn't have any nicotine, though.
Right.
You don't have to drink it. I just did that for the bit. I don't even want the rest. Did I just spill it?
No.
Do you have a napkin? I spilled. Thank you. It's a dryer sheet?
Well, that's our next topic right there, alcohol.
Alcohol is interesting. So, yeah, I had a resolution to stop drinking alcohol.
And sugar was kind of the thing you wanted to dial back.
And sugar. I have realized I'm a very big sugar addict. I have I have an issue with sugar. But it's better than, like, me being addicted to
Yes.
But also it's still, like, really bad for me. It's difficult.
I don't have a sweet tooth. And if I do, I drink a donut-flavored protein shake.
Yeah.
So that's...
I
just have a different perspective. I don't value, like, freshly baked cookies the same way that other people do.
Yeah.
Like, it's awesome, but, like, I'm not going to look like how I want to look if I eat that.
Yeah.
So, or feel the way I want to feel, which is even more important.
That's true. And every time I eat sugar, I feel really bad.
Yeah.
I'm trying to fix that.
And truth is, everything, like, not to be that guy, but it's like everything's better. And like nicotine fiends will know what I'm talking about. Like, everything's better in moderation. If you smoke, like, if you waited a week and then you hit the nick, dude, that nick is so much better than if you're just, like, day by day. Like, I feel like it's the same thing with anything.
Yeah. Everything in moderation.
Same thing with sugar. Like, if you don't eat hella chocolate cake, if you don't eat cake ever, and then, like, you're like, oh, okay, I'll do this. It's so much better. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but I don't know.
Nicotine for you is me with sugar. For sure.
Yeah.
And we always debate about that.
Yeah, we go back and forth.
We do go back and forth. But, okay, you know what else I want to talk about that I brought up, like, the other day to you?
What?
Your mom has a podcast, and your dad is trying to, like, pursue YouTube and, you know, like, do certain, like, vlogs on there and stuff.
Yep.
And it's funny because I literally do both of those things.
Yep.
Isn't that weird?
It's meant to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's a pretty wild quinky dink.
Also, like, the way you present yourself on social media, because you are a real estate agent, like, you make videos. You've made, like, videos of yourself talking. You've made videos of homes, and, like, you'll upload, like, reels and stuff. And you always have your laptop, like, you're doing stuff on there. And I always have my laptop because I have to do stuff on my laptop, and I have to post Instagram reels, but it's, like, different. Like, we kind of do, I don't know, our careers, like, kind of, like, they, like, coexist very well. They mesh well together.
I agree. They're both like you're able to work from home for the most part with both of them.
Yeah.
And yeah, like there's a lot that carries over. I think marketing is the big centerpiece, the Venn diagram, because we both have to learn how to market ourselves the best possible. You're trying to achieve people's attention in the form of watch time, in the form of subscribers, that's the whole model of this creative space podcasting is like you want to gain attention, gain listeners. Whereas for me, it's like I also need to gain attention through the form of clients. And I think, I don't know, there's more branding on my end of the spectrum, but at the same time, you have to brand yourself as someone unique and something separate from all the other podcasts. I don't know, they are very similar. You're just in a far more creative space, whereas I'm definitely in the like capitalism sector. Like I'm in like I'm in the housing business.
Can I say, like, I love that you're a real estate agent.
Like
I like bringing you up and being like, yeah, my boyfriend's just real estate. Like, it's very cool.
Yeah, it's usually like you get a positive reaction with it.
For sure.
You're just like, oh, because I'm young, or oh, my XYZ family member, is a real estate agent too.
Yeah.
Or or that people want to talk to you about houses, and the truth is, you can help anyone buy a house. Yeah. So it's like, it only helps to talk about it.
What's your favorite thing about being a real estate agent?
So my favorite thing is something that I haven't fully capitalized on, but it is the income potential. Like truthfully, like it's amazing that how hard you work. It's one of those careers where how hard you work is how much you can get paid.
Right.
Like there's no stopping you. You're the only one in your way. I used to wrestle as in high school and in middle school, and that was one thing I really liked about wrestling was it's all you out there. Like it's you against you. There's no one to blame except for you for your failures. So it's not like, like I always hated team projects for the exact opposite reason, or for that same reason on the other flip side. I've just always liked things where I'm more of the boss of me, but it's also all my fault if I lose.
Yeah, it's like you don't have to rely on someone else for your income or for your potential income.
And don't get me wrong, I have a ton of people that guide me, especially as a younger real estate agent in the field. Like I have a ton of people who are mentors and help me, both in person and virtually from around the country. So I don't know. I love what it's doing. Another part of it that I love, other than just the income potential, is like it's really making me think bigger, and I'm learning more about like the real world through housing, like what it really takes to like buy a house, and like I've learned so much more about like finance and like the average person's financial ability, and like how to improve upon financial ability, and like how to improve upon your finances rather. And I think that it's just kind of like cleared up a lot of like the gray area as far as like how to not be, broke. And I don't know, you're surrounded by a lot of successful people too, most of the time. So
that can't hurt.
It's great circles all in real estate.
Yeah. I like that. It's interesting. Like both of us grew up very differently, and we've talked about this recently too, but would you say like you kind of have four parents?
Yes.
In a way, and like we were kind of talking about how like growing up you kind of had like four parental figures, and then I kind of had zero. And it's interesting because like your parents are very affectionate, like and loving and caring, towards you, and both of my parents were not affectionate. I didn't want my mom to like ever touch me. Like it was just I did not have a good relationship with them. Affection isn't something I got as a child. But both of us growing up in those opposite environments, both of our love language is physical touch. It's very interesting how like we both can come from literally opposite ways of receiving physical touch. And then like I don't know, it's very cool how we're both on the same page about that.
Yeah, just the origin is different. So like you're much more like my father, where he was raised like very roughly, like he basically completely absent. My grandfather was completely absent. And like at one point in time, my grandfather lived less than 1 mile away from my dad in the same in a small neighborhood in Northern California, just some hick town. And they didn't see each other for 3 years while they both lived there. They both lived a mile apart, but they never saw each other because he didn't give a just didn't. He never took the time to really raise my dad. I think he taught my dad how to drive stick, and that's about it.
Wow.
Yeah. So his mom was all about like, she was just all about being hardworking. So he got zero love, and that's why he loved me so much. So I get my affection trait from him, not really my mom. Oh. My mom's not super affectionate. She is with her kids, but she's not relationship affectionate.
Oh,
funny enough, she's really not. My dad is really the one who taught me how to be a lover, and it's because he had zero. He had negative love in his life. So
he broke the cycle successfully.
Oh yeah, that's my dad's whole life basically is breaking that cycle.
Your dad's awesome.
Thank you. I'm happy to have him.
Yeah, I like going to the casino with both of you, which is really fun. Should we talk about my casino luck?
Let's talk about the casino.
Okay.
We go to the best casino here locally, where my dad is part of the elite member.
Yes.
So if you're familiar with the casinos, there's usually a card tier system where, depending on the amount of money that you run through the system, in this case, slot machines, you get upgraded to different card levels, different colors, and then you get offered free rooms, you get free concert tickets, depending on how much you're running through the machine. So I'm not going to tell you exactly how much. You can look it up, but you can look it up for like most casinos, what it is how much money you have to run through a machine to be a black card member. But we're black card members. But that gives you insane perks. Insane perks. Like
insane.
So we've seen, I mean, some people maybe you don't care as much about, like, but like I saw T-Pain and Flo Rida for free, and I was like on the ground, like right there in like an awesome brand new venue as part of the casino. And that they give us free like presidential suites, like big ass rooms with like 20-foot ceilings. That like for my dad's birthday, they just found out it was our birthday. They're like, hey, it's your birthday. Do you want us to like comp you out like the whole weekend, in like the presidential suite? We're like, oh yeah, sure. And like they paid for all this shit. Gave my dad like $1,000 free slot play at the machines, like gave him like all this shit, and then we get to the room and it's fucking, we got like a cheese tray and like crackers and like all this champagne on ice and all this shit, and it's like, dude. And then I think we ended up getting the steakhouse dinner. We got it brought up to because our room is so fat, we have like a 10-person dining room table, so there's literally 10 of us or however many people, and we brought up the fancy steakhouse that's attached to the casino. We brought it up catered to our room. And so they laid all that out for us. And so we ate like kings in our room instead of being in the restaurant, which I actually kind of enjoyed. And I'd never done that before.
Yeah.
So we just get treated like kings. And I'm pretty sure they comp that meal too. So it's just a cool experience. They treat you like royalty.
It is. And your dad's very generous, because if he's not going to stay in the room, he's like, you guys want the room for the night? And then, so we've gotten like the luxury of staying in some of those rooms, and it's really fun.
Oh yeah,
it's kind of like always like we get to go on like a little vacation, you and I, and like it's kind of like my form of like Disneyland. Like I really like the casino.
It's very fun if you just keep in mind that the goal is not to walk in and walk out with more money every single time, right? It's like sometimes that happens, and that's awesome. Yeah. But like we're just there to have fun. We're here to get some drinks flowing and just have a good time, and and enjoy, just enjoy. And during the summer, it's even better because you haven't experienced the cabanas yet, and they have this whole outdoor area where you can just get like, dude, anyway.
That's so nice.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
By the pool and shit.
I remember the first time I went, I was like, what the f***? And it's interesting because there's also like a dark psychology. There's a dark side to the casinos.
Sure.
Like if you're in the casino and you're looking for that dark side, like you'll see it. You'll notice it everywhere. You'll notice the people who you could tell it's their last $20 they're putting in that machine. We'll spend the night and then we'll get up and go to the lobby to get coffee. And the people that we saw last night are still there. They were there all night just shoveling money into the machine. And all the sounds in the machine are like so psychologically stimulating. The sound of money, it's the sound of coins, it's the sound of winning. It all just makes you want to do more and do more and do more.
Oh yeah, and you can kind of feel it playing with your brain sometimes. Like,
Yes.
like you're like, oh, like even like, and I wouldn't do this, and I've never done this, but like even walking downstairs at like 7 a.m. to grab a coffee and like a breakfast sandwich at like the coffee shop that's just down the elevators from the hotel. It's like you have to walk past a couple slot machines to get there, and it makes you think like, you know, I wish I had some time to play some slots this morning. You're like, it's like you want to play right now.
Yeah.
It's so crazy.
That's happened to me as well.
I'm like, I wish we could play again right now. Like, and it's like we lost money last night. Like, why do you want to play again? Because you want to make it back, or you would think it's crazy, but it's kind of fun. Like when you pick up on that, you just have to be really self-aware and realize that kind of like that's the casino kind of messing with me. Like I'm not gonna listen to that voice, but this is really fun. And when I don't know. It's usually worth the money you put in. Now, going with my dad is
a whole different
crazy
story.
Because I mean, we're betting a lot bigger hand. And so part of when she brought up earlier that my mom has a podcast and my dad has his own vlog YouTube channel. He's actually, because now we're explaining the casino side of things.
Yeah.
He's filming his casino content and like recording like big wins and hand pays and stuff like that. So if that's the kind of thing he's into, and he's going to share it with the internet.
Absolutely. And I think it was the first or second time I went with you guys, and I was just my good luck was on like crazy, and we got our first hand pay together. Well, technically it was like your hand pay because it was on your card.
Yeah,
your name.
It was my W-2. So
but baby, it was my luck.
It was all your luck. It was your button press as well. No, yeah. For those who are, I feel like I keep saying that, but like if you're unfamiliar with kind of how the casino works, anything over I think $1,200 or $1,300 requires a tax form W-2, so you have to pay taxes on that capital or on the gains, the gambling winnings. And then they have to hand pay you. It doesn't just go onto the machine. It doesn't just load the winning onto the machine so you can keep playing. They have to stop that shit. They bring in the person to verify it actually happened. They look at the video recording, make sure it was legit, make sure it was your card in the machine, and then they pay you in $100 bills, like usually like cash right there. It feels really nice when it happens. It happened the other night with my dad last time I was there.
Yeah.
So it's fun.
Oh, it is so fun. I love going with you. It's honestly the best. I have a question.
Yeah.
Growing up, did you ever leave dishes in your room, like at your parents' house?
During COVID, that was like the worst dish habits I ever had.
Would mold and almost
no.
animals start growing?
Hell no. No.
I was so depressed throughout high school. I had, sorry if this is going to gross you out, but
no, you're good.
This is not normal, by the way. I would have so many dishes. Not so many, but I'd have a couple at a time. And there would be living organisms. There would be things growing. It was a hazard, truth be told. And then I would hide them in my closet. And then after a while, I'd throw the plates away.
Huh?
I'd throw the plates away.
So you just trash that shit?
Yeah.
You should have just been using paper plates to begin with.
I know. I just wanted you to know that.
Oh.
I thought it would be important. But I'm reformed now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got you washing dishes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm in my housewife era.
Yeah.
So I really applaud you because your ability to act normal when I tell you things is
act
awesome.
Normal.
Be hanging out in the living room. I'll be and I'll remember something. I'll remember something crazy that I've been through, and I'll kind of trauma dump or tell you when I really don't need to.
Yeah.
But you're my best friend. I want to tell you stuff, and I'll be like, babe, I just remember, I did Molly for 3 days, and then I forgot the psych ward, and then my ex-boyfriend came and slashed my tires, and then I did ketamine, and then and you'll be like, okay, babe, so, what do you want for dinner?
Yeah.
I really, really applaud you for that.
Yeah, well, I know you've been through shit, and you've done some shit, but it's sometimes out of context, I'm like, that's cool. Do you want to talk about that right now? We're both kind of hungry. We were gonna get some. Yeah, it's
we have like opposite high school experiences. So
Yeah.
just to break it down really quick, I'm from Humboldt County. The crime rate is insane. It's so up. I went to Eureka High School, like the most high school you could go to. All the halls smelled like weed. Everyone was like on drugs or drinking or on coke in AP Environmental Science class, which is just nuts. Humboldt was just like very weird.
None of that mattered. Like what you
Yeah,
were
none of
wearing or what you drove to school didn't matter.
Yeah, because most people would wear like I'd wear pajamas to school all the time, and like I don't know.
Yeah,
It was just like different.
I'm not gonna say it mattered for everyone at my school. It's just I was into fashion, and like there were a lot of people who were into fashion. Like if you were walking around with the new 350 V2s on, like the ones that had just dropped, that was cool. Or like if you had an MCM backpack, and it's not part of the reason why I have an MCM backpack, but I wanted one back then. And then like when people who had MCM backpacks at school, I was like,
oh yeah,
like
for sure.
like that's just like
Hell yeah.
it was just a little flex. But it was also like I really liked the bag and
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway,
I'll say one more thing. before we go. Remember when you came to my Thanksgiving at my aunt's?
Yes.
And we were at the Thanksgiving table, and there were like 15 people at the table, and I made I mentioned how much Kanye was my second most listened to artist, and
Right.
and like it was so awkward. It was so awkward. And that one lady looked at me like I was crazy. She was like, "Oh, and I felt so embarrassed.
Well, you said it genuinely, and essentially the rest of the people just. It seemed like most of the people there had just heard what the news headlines had most recently said about anti-Semitic stuff, and so they instantly were like, oh, that's oh no, Megan, like that was kind of the tone
They
of
were
the whole
concerned.
room. But it was like none of you listen to Kanye, none of you have ever listened to any of his first 3 albums, or like you guys just know like a couple of hits here and there, and then now he's crazy.
Yeah.
And it's like
I'm over here like, I watched the documentary.
yeah. But they would all still jam to Gold Digger if they.
Yeah.
She take my mind. I say, like they would still be dancing if that was playing. Like
Yeah.
so.
You can't like kill Kanye,
Yeah.
But also like not good what he said, but
Not get what he said, but
Yeah.
I like to separate the art from the artist.
yeah.
Personally.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much for coming on, Jordan. Really appreciate it. You're awesome. I appreciate you.
Thanks for having me. You could have had anybody. You really. This podcast is going big, so thanks for choosing me.
You're so welcome. All right, everyone. Have a great night, and thanks for tuning in, and leave a like and subscribe. All right. Bye, everyone. Oh, shout out Paw Dogs and Phil. Yo! Perfect. That was a good one.